Hello and welcome to JNC Better Living's Rooted Yoga. Today's practice, we're going to start in a seated pose. So just come to an easy seated pose, maybe one leg in front of the other, knees are bent, or maybe one leg on top of the other. We'll take our hands to heart center. Start by focusing in on our breath. Using the breath to calm our body, to calm our mind. Breathing in and out through your nose if you are able, and creating equal inhales and exhales. Take your arms down, around and up, touching at the top. And exhale, hands through heart center. Good, now let's take our hands to the floor and walk them forward as we hinge at our hips, bringing our forehead toward the earth. If you cannot reach, a block is a good thing here. And maybe you stretch forward, forearms come to the mat, and you put your head on the block at any level. Again, coming back to the breath, breathing in and out, equal inhales and exhales. And now let's walk our hands over to the right, finding a nice stretch through the left side body. Good, and then let's walk our hands back to center. And then walk our hands over to the left, feeling a nice stretch through the right side body. Good, and then breathe in, come back to center, and let's roll up one vertebrae at a time. Coming back to seated, pressing your sits bones into the earth, reaching the crown of your head up to the ceiling. And now let's take the left hand to the outside of the right thigh, placing our right fingers behind our sits bones and turning to the right, finding a nice twist through our mid-body. Breathe in, come back to center. Switch sides, right hand to the outside of the left thigh. Left fingertips come behind your sits bones, turn to the left. Good, breathe in, come back to center. Now let's switch legs, so whichever leg you had in front or on top, now goes the other way. The other foot comes on top or in front. Let's breathe in and sweep our hands down, around and up, touching at the top. And again, fold forward, hinging at your hips. Maybe forehead again finds that block. Feeling a nice stretch through the low back and the hips. Good, a couple breaths here. And then walk your hands toward your legs. Let's take the right hand just to the outside of your right thigh. Sweep your left arm up and over for a nice side body stretch. Breathe in, come back to center. Press that left hand into the mat just to the outside of your left thigh. Sweep that right arm up and over. Nice stretch through your right side body. And breathe in, come back up. Good, now let's roll over our legs and come to tabletop. Wrists are right under our shoulders, knees are right under our hips. Create a flat back, gaze is facing right at the mat. And let's sway our hips a little bit side to side. Good, one more breath here. come to stillness. Now let's take a couple of cat-cows. So drop your belly, lift your sits bones, lift your heart. This is cow pose. Exhale, press the mat away as you round into your back cat pose. Breathe in, roll forward, shoulders roll down your back, gaze is lifted, cow pose. Exhale, hollow out your belly, cat pose. One more time, breathe in, drop your belly, roll your shoulders down your back, cow pose. Exhale to cat. Breathe in, come back to neutral. Walk your hands one palm distance forward. Really spread your fingers wide so you have little pie shapes in between each finger. Press the fingertips into the mat, tuck your toes, and press the mat away, lifting your knees, lifting your hips, coming into a down dog. Pedal out your feet here, coming up onto the ball of one foot and then the ball of the other foot. Good, just pedaling them out. Getting some movement in the hips. Then breathe in, come to stillness, and take your upper arms and roll them out, shining the inside of your elbows forward. And then press your chest toward your thighs even more, making room in your shoulders for your neck, and let your head hang heavy. Knees can be bent here if you have tight hamstrings. One more breath in, and then bend into your knees, look forward, and walk to the top of the mat. Breathe in, half lift, hands to shins, flat back. Exhale, fold over your legs, coming to a forward fold. Breathe in, press the earth away as you roll up one vertebrae at a time. Head is the last thing to come up. Breathe in, sweep your arms up and overhead. And exhale, swan dive forward, hinge at your hips, coming to a forward fold again. Breathe in, half lift, hands to shins, flat back. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step your right foot back, then your left, coming into plank pose. Bend your elbows, point them backwards as you lower your chest all the way to the mat. Untuck your toes, keeping your hands right under your shoulders. Press into the mat, lift your heart, cobra. Exhale, lower down. Good, press your hands into the mat, come to hands and knees. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, come back to down dog. Breathe in, bend into your knees, look forward, and step or hop to the top of the mat. Breathe in, half lift, hands to shins, flat back. Exhale, fold. Bend into your knees as you roll all the way up, doing a couple half sun salutations here. Breathe and sweep your hands up and overhead. And exhale, swan dive forward, coming to a forward fold. Breathe in, half lift, hands to shins, flat back again. Exhale, fold all the way down. Plant your hands, step your right foot back, then your left, coming into a plank pose. And then slowly lower all the way down. If you need to, you can drop your knees on these chaturangas. Breathe in, little cobra, pressing your hands into the mat, lifting your heart. Exhale, lower all the way down. Good, press back to tabletop and then back up to down dog. One more time for a half sun salutation. Breathe in and look forward, step or hop to the top of the mat. Breathe in, half lift, hands to shins, flat back. Exhale, fold all the way down. Breathe in, slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time, coming back to standing. This time, sweep your hands up and overhead, and take your right hand, grab your left wrist, and side bend it to the right. Good, breathe in, come back up to standing, and side bend the other way. Breathe in, come back up to standing, and then swan dive forward again, coming to our forward fold. Breathe in, half lift, and exhale, fold. This time we're going to step our right foot back, keeping our left foot planted. Bend into your left knee. Place your left hand on your left thigh and cartwheel your hands up and around, coming into a warrior two. Arms are parallel to the earth. Gaze is over your front middle finger. Front knee is pointing right over your second or third toe. Torso is centered between your legs. One more breath here. And then sweep your right hand down, left arm up to the sky for reverse warrior. One breath here. And then bend into your left arm, place that forearm on your thigh, sweep the right arm up to the sky, coming into our side angle. Good, breathe in one more time, reverse, right hand down, left hand up. And then exhale, cartwheel your hands down to the mat. Pivot on your back foot, and then drop your back knee. Lift both arms up and overhead, coming into Anjaneyasana. Good, let your shoulders roll down your back. Shine your heart to the ceiling. Breathe in and take your right hand forward, left arm back for a little twist. Good, breathe in, both hands reach up. And exhale, both hands frame your foot, lift your back knee, step your left foot back to meet your right. You're in plank pose. Either drop your knees or bend into your elbows and come all the way down to the mat. Untuck your toes, hands are right under your shoulders. Lift your heart away, cobra. Exhale, lower all the way down. Good, press back to hands and knees, and then tuck your toes, coming back to our down dog. Bend into your knees, look forward, and step or hop to the top of the mat. Breathe in, half lift, hands to shins, flat back. Exhale, fold. Bending into your knees, rolling up again, one vertebrae at a time. Head is the last thing to come up. Breathe in, sweep your hands up and overhead. And exhale, hands through heart center. Good, sweep your hands up and overhead one more time. This time, bend into your knees generously. Sit your sits bones as far back as you can, coming into a chair pose. Make sure that you can see your toes peeking out from your feet under your knees. Sit back a little deeper. See if you can play with lifting your toes off the mat, putting most of your weight in your heels. One more breath in here, and then bring your hands to heart center. Take your left elbow and hook it to the outside of your right thigh, coming into a little prayer twist. Good, breathe in, find length. Breathe in, sweep your hands back up, chair pose. And then bring your hands to heart center one more time. This time, hook your right elbow on the outside of your left thigh, turning your heart to the left. Good, breathe in to find length. And exhale, fold on forward. Breathe in, half lift, hands to shins, flat back. And exhale, fold. This time we're gonna step our left foot back, coming into warrior two on this side. I'm gonna switch sides so that I can face you. Bending into the front knee. Back foot is at a 45-degree angle. Bring your right hand to your right thigh and cartwheel your hands up so that the arms are parallel to the earth. Gaze is over your front middle finger. Front knee is pointing over your second or third toe. Torso is squared between your legs. Good, breathe in, sweep your right hand up, left hand down, coming into reverse warrior. One breath here. Now bend into the front arm, place the forearm on the right thigh, left arm sweeps up to the sky for side angle. Good, one breath here. Breathe in, switch the arms, keeping the legs the same, right hand up, left hand down, reverse warrior again. And exhale, cartwheel your hands down to the mat. Pivot on your back foot and drop your left knee, pressing your hands away from the mat, lifting them up overhead, Anjaneyasana. Good, breathe into fine length, let your shoulders roll down your back. Exhale, maybe you sink a little more into the front leg. Good, breathe in, find length, and exhale, twist, left arm forward, right arm back. Good, breathe in, reach your hands up and overhead, and exhale, bring your hands down to the mat, frame your foot, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and step your right foot back to meet your left. You're in plank pose. You can drop your knees or stay in plank and then lower all the way down to the mat. Untuck your toes, press the tops of your feet into the mat, press the mat away as you lift your heart cobra. Exhale, lower all the way down. Good, breathe in, press the mat away, one more time, cobra. Exhale, lower all the way down. Good, come back to hands and knees, and we'll take a child's pose. Knees come wide to the mat, toes come together to touch. Sits bones press back towards your heels, forehead comes to the mat. Arms can be in a diamond shape or fingers pointing right toward the top of your mat. Roll your forehead from side to side, giving yourself a nice little massage. Good, one more breath here. Walk your hands toward your knees and then come back to tabletop. Tuck your toes, press your sits bones, coming back to down dog. Breathe in, look forward, and lift your right leg up and back. Exhale, step between your hands, pivot on your back foot, and now take your right foot and heel toe it to the edge of the mat. We're gonna lift both arms up, coming into our warrior one pose. Hips are squared to the front of the mat. Feet are like they're on skis, they're no longer in a straight line. Good, breathe in, find length. Let your shoulders roll down your back. Lift the crown of your head up toward the ceiling. Breathe in, find length, and exhale, left hand forward, right hand back, little twist like we did from Anjaneyasana. Good, breathe in, sweep both hands up. And exhale, bring your hands behind your back and have them clasp. Breathe in as you shine your heart forward and roll your fists down your leg. One more breath in, and exhale. Bend forward as you bring your chest toward your knee and lift your fist up toward the ceiling. If that is too much for you, you can also just bring your hands to frame your foot. Good, one more breath here. This is humble warrior. On your next breath in, lift back up, shine your heart to the ceiling. Let your fists roll down your leg. And then exhale, bring your hands back to frame your foot. Pivot on the back foot. And step your right foot up and back, coming into three-legged dog. Breathe in, and exhale, lower the leg. Good, this time we'll take the other side. Breathe in, sweep the left leg up and back. Exhale, step that foot between your hands, making sure that your feet are fairly wide apart like they're on skis. Take your back foot at a 45-degree angle and lift both arms up, coming into our warrior one. Hips are pointing toward the top of the mat. Good, breathe into fine length. Exhale, right hand forward, left arm back, little twist. Good, breathe in, arms come back up and overhead. Exhale, hands come behind your back, clasp your hands. Breathe in, shine your heart to the ceiling, roll your fist down your leg. exhale, fold forward. Chest comes to your front thigh as you lift your arms up and behind you, coming into humble warrior. Good, press into the front foot as you lift your chest one more time. And then exhale, cartwheel your hands down to the mat. Pivot on your back foot, step your left foot back to meet your right. Lower your knees to the mat, and then bend into your elbows, lower all the way down to the ground. Bring your forearms to the mat and place your elbows right under your shoulders. Palms are facing the floor. Press your forearms into the mat as you shine your heart forward, pressing the tops of your feet into the mat even more, and pressing your hips into the mat as well. Good, breathe in, let your shoulders roll down your back, relax your head and neck. One more breath here. And exhale, lower all the way down. Good, press your hands into the mat and press back to child's pose. Knees come wide to the mat, toes come together. Press your sits bones back to your heels, forehead finds the mat. Couple breaths here. Good, press to hands and knees, and then tuck your toes, lift your hips, come back to down dog. Bend into your knees, look forward, and step or hop to the top of the mat. Breathe in, half lift, and exhale, fold. Breathe in, slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Head is the last thing to come up. I'm going to turn to face you. We're going to come into dancer pose. So we're going to really ground into our left foot and come up onto the ball of our right foot. Bring your right hand out to the right side like you're serving a platter, and then bend your knee and reach your right foot back behind you. Then bring your right hand down to catch your foot and lift your left arm up to the ceiling. Good, you can stay right here, bringing both knees toward each other, or you can start to lift the back leg up, and as you do so, lowering forward, coming into a dancer pose. Really pressing forward as you lift the back foot up. Breathe in and exhale, come back up. Good. Taking that on the other side now, you're going to ground into your right foot, come up onto the ball of your left foot, taking your left hand out like you're serving a platter on this side, and then bending into the left knee, reaching now that hand backward toward the top of the foot and bringing the knees together. Right arm comes up to the sky, and then you slowly start to hinge forward if you want to, coming into your dancer pose. Lifting that back foot up as much as you're able to as you hinge forward to counter that balance. Good, one more breath here. And then come back up to standing. Good, take that foot down and shake it out. And we'll try a warrior 3 on each side as well. So grounding into the left foot now, bringing hands to heart center. We're going to hinge forward, straightening through our right leg as we lift it up, parallel to the earth, as our torso comes parallel to the earth as well. Pointing the right toes down toward the floor and trying to keep your hips square to the mat. Good. If you want to, you can support yourself with blocks under the hands until you find comfortableness in this balance. One more breath here. And then just sweep your leg back down to the floor, coming back to standing. Good, shake out your feet. We'll take a breath in between here and then take that on the other side. Breathe in, sweep your hands up and overhead. And exhale, hands through heart center. Remembering to use the breath to calm our mind, to calm our body. Good, taking hands at the heart center now, hinging forward as you take your left foot and reach it back behind you while your chest and your leg come parallel to the earth. Taking your left toes, pointing them toward the mat, and breathing. You can play with where you want your arms to go, maybe out to the sides or forward like a Superman. One more breath here, and then sweep the leg back down. Good, let's just shake it out, and we'll take another cleansing breath. Breathe in, sweep your hands up and overhead, and exhale, hinge at your hips, swan dive forward. Breathe in, half lift, hands to shins, flat back, and exhale, fold. Good, plant your hands and step back, coming into a plank pose. Either drop your knees or lower down, bending your elbows, pointing the mat, coming all the way down to the mat. Untuck your toes, press your hands into the mat, lift your heart, cobra. Exhale, lower all the way down. Good, and now we're just gonna roll over onto our back from here and bring our knees in toward our chest, coming into a happy baby pose. We're gonna press our feet up toward the ceiling, bending into the knees, bringing the knees a little wide so they're about shoulder width, kind of coming in toward the armpits. Hands reach up for the outside or inside of the feet, and then gently guiding the knees closer to the mat, in toward the armpits. Try to make sure that you can bring the small of your back toward the mat, and then maybe readjust your legs. If you feel comfortable here and you feel like your back is supported, then maybe sway a little bit side to side. Coming into a happy baby, happy, calming pose. That's why babies do it all the time. Good, and then letting go of your feet, bring them back to the earth. And we'll take the feet about mat distance apart. And then we're going to drop the knees to the left, getting a nice stretch through the hips. You can stay here, or you can take your arms out to a T and bring your gaze over your right hand. You can also consider taking your left ankle and placing it on top of your right leg just above your knee, and that will increase the stretch. Good, couple breaths here. And then bringing that left ankle back to the mat. Let's rock those knees up toward the ceiling, and let's rock them back and forth a couple of times. Windshield wipering them one more time. And then dropping the knees off to the right. Maybe taking your gaze over the left hand, and maybe taking that right heel and placing it just above your left knee, deepening the stretch on this side. Feeling a nice twist through your torso, twisting out your organs, a nice detox for your body. And then bring that right heel back to the mat. Point your knees up to the ceiling again. And bring your knees in toward your chest for one more hug. Good. Now extend your legs long so that each foot finds the corner of the top of your mat. Resting your arms at your sides and closing your eyes, coming into our Shavasana pose. Really taking a few moments to come back to the natural cadence of your breath, letting your breath calm your mind, calm your body. Feel your body sinking into the mat and just find peace. We'll be here for 1 minute and then I will guide you out of the practice. But feel free to stay longer if you would like. 5 to 10 minute Shavasana can always serve you well if you have the time. And then starting to wiggle your fingers and toes. Roll out your wrists and roll out your ankles. Roll over onto whichever side you feel comfortable. And then press yourself up to a comfortable seated position, keeping your eyes closed if you can. Bringing hands to heart center and bowing your chin to chest. The light in me truly honors and respects the light in each of you. I wish you peace